Hello, my friends. This is Rick, and welcome to your seat at the table. I got Gray and White Mama laying over here in the corner for the moment. You see how long it takes before she makes her way over here. We are looking at another BattleTech novel, A Skulk of Foxes by Jason Hansen. This would be a novelette, let's be clear about that. Part three of The Fortunes of War. And this one actually was quite good. I mean, they're all good, don't be wrong, but some resonate to with me more than others do. And in this case, basically, you've got kind of a collage of things going on here. I will acknowledge. It starts out with this diverse group of spies, uh, watch and special services kind of stuff mixing together from two to three different organizations, including the Sea Foxes, and it ends with basically a important member of the Sea Foxes leadership and the commander of the Screaming Eagles mercenary company regiment, and it's being successfully completing whatever task that was in the book. And we're not going to go down to those details. The thing was, for me, is first off, I kind of somewhere along the line, the only downside in my mind is it started out as a spy novel and it ends up as something different. And a lot of it just seems like it phased over to other characters, and they took up they became front and center as opposed to where everything got started. That's just my opinion. That said, the Screaming Eagles has been an iconic mercenary command for BattleTech since their early 80s, mid 80s. It was in and out, nothing major. I mean, I don't know that there was ever a major source book that has them. I mean, focused on them. Most of the mercenary command source books, almost all of them mention them at least at one stage of their career or another. And you can watch, if you have all the books, how they up and down based on different issues and things like this. At some point, they mostly serve the Federated Sons, and then on a smaller scale, the House Steiner, because that's kind of their thing. Now, some mercenary commands tend to be favor certain house styles and certain house philosophies and things like this. The Screaming Eagles is one of those many but yet rare military commands in the Inner Sphere that can trace its lineage back to pre-space flight Earth. So that gives it a longevity. Plus, they were members of the Star League at one point, the Star League Defense Forces, if I remember. They were quite an effective force for the Star League for many years. Uh, that said, so they ended up getting on the bad end of a situation that tarnishes their reputation even more. This means that as a mercenary command, they get the less than choosy, less than rosy, less than lucrative contracts, which puts them into some pretty mundane or boring um, settings for extended periods of their time. Then they end up eventually being employed by a combination. So this Janelle from is it Merchant Commander Janelle from the Sea Foxes manages to hook them up with a contract, because that's what she does. She does all kinds of things and that benefits herself and her clan, and occasionally other people in the process. So we have the world of Son Hoa is more or less independent. So I'm not familiar with the world of the setting right off the top of my head. I don't know what house it ought to belong to, but it sounds like to me they've been independent for a while. And they have a BattleMech regiment, damn it, a BattleMech factory that's doing quite well too. And then they're basically another somewhat storied mercenary command under employment of somebody else is hired to come in and raid the factory. And their intentions, it becomes pretty clear that they want to not steal mechs. They want to steal the equipment used to make mechs, because the people who hired them have a factory that's in desperate need of new equipment or replacement equipment to get it up and functioning. And that's my understanding. And so we get this quite interesting story that fluctuates up and down, but we get a taste of what a mercenary command sometimes goes through when their reputations, on the decline or has been tarnished for enough period of time that sooner and later they're going to be allowed to redeem themselves, or they will redeem themselves another manner. So they come out of this with quite a successful campaign at the end. It was a little touch and go, but the Screaming Eagles are allowed or get enough resources to resume the battle mech regiment categories that they, because at one point back in the day there was two, the first and the second, if I remember right. And so they whittled down and whittled down to about a battalion plus a augmented battalion with infantry and tank support kind of thing, which is quite common in the more modern era of Battletech, considering how much uh, conflict has broken out since the fall or before the fall of the republic. Anyhow, this is a good book, and if you can get your hands on it, it's worth your read. I suspect at some point near down the road that the three volumes that I've read will be put together as a single novel, or a compendium of novels. Anyhow, uh, and guys, hope you guys have yourself a great weekend. We're the last weekend of September 2025. The sun's out there pretty nice. Weather's been pretty reasonable here in Iowa. I've got did some a little bit of landscaping that was overdue yesterday and mowed, and so I was quite busy. And our window air conditioner that actually came out of the old RV. We had bought this small portable window air conditioner for the RV, so whenever we could park somewhere that we couldn't plug in the 30 amp, we could still have AC in the thing. So when we bought the house, that went into a box and then was put into storage out in the garage. And I've had it out once, I think one time in like I said, we're going on 7 years now in this house. It's been 7 years, folks. I started doing this videos on this channel in late 16, early 17 from the RV. I think it'd be early 17. So been there a minute, and so I had to go out and buy a new air conditioner, which I had to spend more than I wanted to, thanks for our, Trump's tariffs and tariff taxes. And I was lucky that there was only two left at the closest Walmart to us. I don't like going to Walmart, but I also don't want to run all over the city looking for something that's good that didn't want to pay for in the first damn place. And $234, Jesus, another hit on my credit card. Just start making down, just start getting. I was congratulating myself already. I'm starting to actually pay down my biggest card, and then bang, here we are again. All my gains just out the window because of one little thing of convenience. And the irony's not lost on me. We are late enough in the summer, you wouldn't think you'd need an AC. And I have central air in the house, but there's a problem. The weather is cool enough, but it's still humid. The humidity, it makes things miserable. And I don't have a dehumidifier option. So the running the furnace at 70 degrees just to keep the humidity down, the AC unit, it's kind of hard on the AC, and we just had that thing overhauled a couple months ago. So my intentions is to keep the window unit going and during in the living room to help keep the humidity down until probably next month, sometime in the middle of next month, when the temps start really getting into the 60s, not in the 80s, which is unusual for late September Iowa. Then I can stick the new AC unit back in its box and stick it out in the garage. But comfort matters. Peace of civility in my house matters because it just does. Neither the wife and I, we get cranky when things are humid and it's not comfortable. And so, sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. Meanwhile, in addition to that, uh, our van is an old vehicle. We've too had it almost 7 years now. Uh, we got I was at the grocery store Friday, and it has one of them automatic doors. The back door opens automatically when you hit the button. Well, the struts, there's two struts that help hold the damn door up, and one of them on the right side broke, and the bolt, it just sheared off the bolt, the little twisty flexy bolt that they got in there, which means I would have to buy a tap and die and try to get that old bolt out so I can find a replacement bolt to put in there. If that's how it's set up. I mean, I don't know. I'm not a mechanic, and I can't afford yet another $300 or $400 bill that for that right now. I mean, I really just can't do that, and I don't know how to fix it. I'm being honest. I will have to play with it. If I can fix it right now, I got a board that I'll prop the lid open so I can get in and out of the back of it. Had things not changed, had the world not turned to shit, my intentions had been we'd have been buying a new van by now. I was going to buy one in the spring, but then my boss retired, the job changed, and then of course the economy's taken a questionable dive, and interest rates on the loans and things are higher than what we would like, and so is the cost of frickin' used vehicles. So I'd hoped to, decided to held off until this coming spring, in the spring, uh, to go get us a replacement van and a newer vehicle. That said, this van that we've had has been really decent. It's run a long time without any serious mechanical problems. It's had a few problems. You can't have a vehicle not have some problems. The things that worry me is we're coming into winter. It's the van's showing some age and showing some issues. There's a little catch in the transmission occasionally, so that tells me that the tranny's starting to slip just a little. And then, of course, being a van, the front suspension has issues. Kind of rough a little bit to turn on tight corners and things like that. Those things vans are notorious for that because all that weight is up on that front suspension. What do you do? What do you do? You know, things have improved at work. I'm getting more hours, consistent hours. I'm hitting that 40 plus. I don't really care if I get 50, 60 hours these days. I really don't. I don't mind it once in a while because it makes for a nice check, but you kill yourself to get it. You literally kill yourself to get it, you know? And it's just like, uh, for a long time, I didn't have anything on my phone. So at Auckland, I used to shut my phone off all the time when it was on my day off. I didn't, it was that to have a peace of mind. So last Friday we was out, and I brought my phone with me because I don't ever get calls. And what do I get? I get a call. Oh, we got an emergency. Can you go do this? Can you do that? And it wasn't even a confirmed emergency yet. There was a possible one. So why are you calling me for? I mean, I'm at the store with a carload of freaking groceries and my spouse who doesn't get out of the house except when I take her to the store, doing our Friday routine, and I get a phone call throwing that whole routine into the trash. And then it turns out there was no emergency, or the emergency wasn't going to be fulfilled yet because the customer had yet to call a plumber and couldn't get a hold of anybody and probably wouldn't have gotten a hold of anybody before Monday. So what was the point of contacting me off at home, per se, in the middle of a damn grocery store, to talk to me about a possible emergency that's not an emergency? That's just so frustrating. I can't begin to put that into terms that doesn't sound like I'm a nut. I used to get that from my old boss so much it just drove me crazy. And then I feel like, if any kind of that stuff comes up, like, well, you don't dare say no. I'm the new guy. I do need hours. But for the love of God, am I just the tool? Am I just the convenient? I mean, they mean well, and we're talking what I feel and how I think, not what they think and what their reasonings were. I go back to turning my damn phone off on the weekend because I don't want. I just want a peace of mind. I don't want to have to think I've got a plan to do stuff, and things are, all of a sudden out of nowhere, somebody throws a wrench into it. I'm hurting for money, but I'm not damn goddamn desperate yet. So I'm trying to be the good employee too. And I really struggle with this stuff. I really do. I struggle with just the idea of being, you know, the good employee, being usually being a part of a team when it's a kind of an odd team. It's a team when with a small team, you know. It's only team occasionally. A lot of the job depends on you being self-starter, being willing, do what you need to do by yourself and do it responsibly and as to your best of your ability and consistently. And I try to do that stuff. So it bothers me when I get these oddball freaking out of nowhere damn requests. Can you? You know, and I'm just, it's so hard for me just to smile and go, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Can I have another? When the rest of the time you spend months and months and months trying to understand how it is they couldn't give you 40 hours on an average basis, you know, just couldn't do it. And then suddenly now they can do it. I mean, hello? Anyhow, till next time, I'm me, you're you. Hope your life's better than mine.